everybody, and welcome to Tremco Live, where we're socially distant but technically connected. I am Marcy Tyler, the Director of Building Science for Tremco, and I am joined by a colleague of mine. Welcome to Tremco Live, Brian.
Thanks, Marcy. Pleasure to be here. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, so Brian Martucci, a colleague of mine, we go way back, don't we?
We go back to the late 90s in Tremco Technical Services. A lot of fun back then.
That's right. I was just letting Brian know. I am in Phoenix at the IIBEC, so the IBEC International Convention and Trade Show, and I ran into a third part of our tech service group, Chris Tuzio. So it was nice to see him. We learned so much back then, and I just think it's funny to think about tech service back then. Obviously, we were out on the road, we were in the field, we were helping, everybody at all times. But if you needed a data sheet, we went to the file cabinet and we mailed it to you, or we faxed it to you. So
Good old snail mail.
and now look at us. We're technically connected doing a program. I mean, I don't think we could imagine that this is where we'd be at today.
No, absolutely not. I don't think we could even imagine the cell phones we have today either. That's another crazy leap in technology.
This is going to age us, but that was 25 years ago.
I know. Crazy.
25 years ago. So,
and you were what, 15,
yeah.
16? Yeah.
I think I was, I was 5. So
okay,
come on.
There you go.
I might have appeared 5, Mike Kohler, eating my Fruit Loops for breakfast in the morning at my desk. So
exactly.
A shout out there to our fearless leader, Mike Kohler. But so Brian, thanks for joining me today. I know we checked in back with you a few weeks back. I think it was in the beginning of August on a project. This whole month we're talking about labor savings, and as soon as I think of labor savings, Securock ExoAir 430 is top of mind. And then when you add the Drive It as part of that system, I mean, not only do you get all this labor savings, there's a lot of savings in terms of coordination because it's all coming from a single source. So it's super exciting to be able to deliver that to our customers.
Absolutely.
So we got some slides to share with everybody. So we'll pull those up on screen and we'll kind of talk you through not only an update of the Cook project, but also, the reason why, we really do believe in the Securock ExoAir 430 system and really the savings that it can bring you on a job site. So we'll pull up this content, of course. There's Brian Martucci from the Tremco Live episode there with Dean Printee from Interior Supply back in August. So Brian, just to kind of remind everybody your role at Tremco.
So I am the tech service rep for Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, and West Virginia for Drive It. So I work as a part of the team under Rick Kataya to promote Tremco CPG products.
So just an example of our feet on the street out there. Do you have a typical day? Does Brian Martucci have a typical work day?
Oh boy, kind of like tech service in days gone by. You never know what you're going to get every day. You have plans in the morning, and you might get a phone call and say, "Hey, I absolutely need you on a job site here in Cleveland this afternoon." So you need to be out there. But generally, we're service to the customer. We're trying to make sure that the products get not only sold but used correctly, and answer a lot of questions during the day. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I really love about what we're able to do is connect with customers and really meet them where they're at, not only with what their needs are, but then right there on their job sites if they need that help. Absolutely. So our topic this month is all about labor savings, and it can come in many different forms. Having a pre-applied air barrier is just such an amazing part of being able to get ahead of the schedule for many reasons. And one of them is just that simplification of having it already pre-installed with the accessories and whatnot. We really have found that it's been such a cost-effective solution as well. And when we say predictable performance, Brian, it's all about the testing that we've done ahead of time because you're getting everything from one manufacturer. And that is even more true as we add the Drive It system on the exterior. So lots and lots of testing was done before it even shows up on your job site that you guys can have that confidence, when you're working with your customers.
Absolutely. I'll add one other thing too, that the fact that was a big part of why this project was specified with Drive-It was the fact that they could get the extended warranty, and also the simplification of the materials and the contractor. So that was a big selling point for this project.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to reiterate it, you know, how it all comes together. So if you've seen the Securock sheathing board, and if you've ever used our ExoAir fluids, we took some modifications to that fluid so that it could be applied in plant, and now you've got your pre-applied air barrier coming right to you to that job site. I love these pictures here just because of the roll coat process. As we all know, if we've ever coated something or applied a membrane or even painted our homes, you're going to need to go over it maybe a couple times, right, to make sure you got good coverage. And the process of us pre-applying this in a roller coated system, we apply it in 3 lifts. So you know you got that uniform coverage, and the uniform coverage is going to give you 20 mils of membrane minimum. So that picture there is a blown up image of the cross section of a board with that 20 mils of membrane. And then when you're starting to use that Dimonic 100, you got 60 mils of sealant connecting your boards and going over your fastener heads. So that's a significant protection on your building. So as we go into that, how easy is it, Brian, when we got our color coded accessories? Does that help at all?
It helps. You can quickly tell without even really going on the job site. From our vantage point up in the deck that time, you could actually see the Dimonic pretty clearly. So it's a huge advantage to be able to identify that they're putting on the sealant correctly.
Yeah, it really does help. Believe it or not, early on, we had everything orange. The sealant was orange, the membrane was orange, everything was orange. And then we moved to saying, hey, let's make the sealant green so it would be a contrast, right? So you could actually see it. And that was feedback from our installers, like, make it a different color, make it a great way to really quality control, like you said, from the street or from the adjacent parking garage, to be able to see that there's sealant on those joints, on those fastener heads. And then as the complexity of the comprehensive nature of our system grew, making the silicone a different color was a key part of that too. We wanted to make sure everybody understood, if you're going with a silicone, it's going to be purple, because the only thing that sticks to a silicone is
It's silicone.
silicone. That was my prompt. If you didn't catch my prompt, I know I'm only a small little video right now. So, but yeah, so just
It's
to make
early.
it as exactly, just to make sure it's really easy as possible for everybody, as we're going through this from a quality control perspective. You know, and telling everybody that it's super fast is only goes so far, right? So we wanted to make sure we provided some video of that as well. So there are several videos that you can see on our YouTube channel, just kind of going through, showing how quickly this can be installed, comparing it to both a fluid and a self-adhered membrane, as you can see here in this example. One major observation that you can see is that it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day, right? So imagine how much savings you're actually going to get if you had any type of complication or windy day, or any type of weather change, that would certainly potentially delay side 2, and not side 1 there. Small project, so obviously not showing that significant here, but when you add to the square footage of a typical project, you are gaining a lot of time when you're using Securock.
We reference this video quite a bit, Marcy. It does
Yeah.
illustrate the point of the speed too. So
Yeah. I don't know, Brian, if you've heard of the Arkansas Children's Hospital project. We always feature that one a lot because that one was a good friend of mine, Gene Keaton from KDENT, was pulled onto that project because they were behind schedule. And they needed some way to speed it up. And Securock ExoAir 430 wasn't part of that project at that point. Gene brought it to them and said, this not only is going to get you back on track, it's going to save you time. In the end, they saved 3 months on that schedule, and they were able to really start working on the interior early. So that's how they sped it up, not only because it was pre-applied, but being able to start working on the interior space ahead of schedule helped them get back on track and exceed their timeline. So those are those awesome stories that we're hearing directly from projects, which is so impressive. If you want more information on these time trials that we did do, so we did one with fluid and we did one with peel and stick, these can be found on our website, but there's just some great other features and benefits as we start to talk about the use of having something that's pre-applied versus applying it in the field. And this is just a snapshot of it. That time savings equates to 1 hour for every 100 square feet. So you can see as your job increases in square footage, your time savings is going to increase right along with it. So significant savings there. And once again, we always talk about this, right? You don't want to pick something that's going to maybe save you time, but then cause you more complications or compromising performance, or maybe it's not as durable. And that's what's so unique about the Securock ExoAir 430 system is it speeds and simplifies your project, but there was no way we wanted to compromise performance. And of course, we still want to be able to give you that durable membrane. So definitely check all that information out if you have any questions. That's what Brian Martucci is there for, as well as your local Tremco rep. But we don't stop there, do we, Brian? We're going to go beyond Securock ExoAir 430 and add in that great finish system. Tell me about this.
Well, you said a key word to me. It's a system. It's a lot of folks sell components. Hey, I've got a better finish. My mesh is priced such, but really, to me, the ace in the hole is the system sale, and it's tying together the weather-resistant barriers you mentioned. Not only in the speed but the performance with a superior looking EIFS system. So, going through the numbers, obviously you have the demonic, which is item one. Normally in another field applied system, you're using our Aquaflash, but the demonic has taken the place of that as well. Of course, the pre-applied air barrier, so there's no worry about doing a field applied application where there's wind and weather causing all kinds of issues. And then you go right with the adhesive. So in this case, I believe it was the Genesis product they used on this particular job in Sandusky. And then you have the starter boards if needed. It takes a couple more steps away. You don't use a drainage track if you use the starter board. The EPS provides the insulation, and then it comes another layer of base coat mesh. And then in this case, for the Sandusky project, for the finish, they used limestone, which was really a nice touch.
Tell me a little bit more about those starter boards, because those are definitely something that's going to help speed up that application as well.
Absolutely. So those are pre-wrapped, pre-finished boards that allow not only to finish a wall without having additional steps, but you can use them around windows, anywhere there's a break in the plane to create a clean NFPA 285 compliant edge. Contractor doesn't have to spend the time wrapping and finishing those edges on the job. They have them pre-wrapped and they just lay them up, and it's fantastic actually. Once a guy uses it, he typically will not go back. It's just a great savings to the job.
It's a testament, right? When the installer doesn't want to use something else, right? It definitely shows that value that they see in it. Absolutely. This just goes over it a little bit further. What you just explained. Talk to me again. Just how this system comes together.
Yeah. So again, air and moisture barrier pre-applied. The pre-finished starter boards, which again were used on the Cook project. And then the silicone, the Tremco silicone Spectrum 1, 2, or 3 or 4. I'm sorry, Spectrum 1, 3, and 4. It's early. Can be applied to get additional warranty coverage as well for the system.
And I love the fact that we've got this whole comprehensive system. So we can go beyond what you're seeing here, right? We can go ahead and make a transition to any kind of a balcony coating. If you have any type of a parking garage or need to go below grade before this system gets installed, we've got those other full complete products. And I know we really love to talk about our warranty. What are we looking at here specifically for a warranty with this system?
Well, we sell the fact that it's a 20-year warranty. That's kind of what I call the anchor for the Drive-It system. I can't take credit for that term. It was given to me by the USG rep Greg Shear, but it truly is an anchor in terms of what the architect looks at. Because if you replace any of these components or the EIFS system with a competitor, you're going to lose that 20-year coverage that we provide.
And that's significant, right? When you're looking at performance on these projects and wanting a system that you can feel very comfortable and confident about. You know, as we look at time savings, right? We don't want to slow down the process in any way. I had just attended an event, the BEC Austin event, where they're talking about, you know, the situation that we're in right now in terms of labor shortages, raw material shortages, right? And one of the things the architect that was on that call was stressing was we need to get all these other things right because we already know where there's going to be a potential delay. So he was talking about the specification process and making sure we do everything correctly as much as possible. Obviously great advice no matter what, but obviously in this stage in the world we're living in, it's even more critical. So I know this is something you worked on with our good friend Bob Dizelle. Let's go through this briefly here and talk about that 11-step process for specifying
Yeah,
EIFS.
so much like the pre-con meeting where you can kind of head off some issues on the job, this kind of process that Bob and I have listed in the Build Meets World blog is kind of a way to allow the architect to gain confidence and gain a comprehensive understanding of what's actually going to be installed on the project. So we go through with an analysis of, you know, what type of system do they have? Do they have a mass wall? Are they looking for use exterior gypboard? What opportunities are there to insert 430? You know, is there going to be an issue with the impact? Is it an area where they're going to get a lot of foot traffic, perhaps some bike traffic where you need some impact resistance to your EIFS system? Tolerances for horizontal surfaces. And we also recommend engaging a third-party inspector. It's required for the air barrier, but we don't view the third-party inspector as a problem. We like to engage early, and then that assures that whatever the designs are and how it's installed is done properly into code. You know, and it's not much of a leap of faith for an architect to look at a single source system because he knows he's going to get one trade, one system, one product, and he's going to deal with typically one person. It's myself, or even a distributor rep to take care of any issues that are on that job. You know, we train, we don't certify, but we train our applicators so they can provide the warranty that's necessary. So that's another level of insurance the architect can get. We go through the warranty options, you know, to see what sort of system they're looking for. Most of them want the longer, you know, 15 to 20-year systems. So again, that's provided by the 430. But we go through that so they fully understand what that entails. The finish is the fun part. I mean, they get to do a lot of different things. They don't realize a lot of times that you can do, you know, a metal look, you can do a true stone look. You know, it's not just traditional stucco, so there's a lot of options with finish. And then the performance. Everything is enhanced with this whole system approach, from the sheathing out, creating a wall assembly that's going to last truly for 20 years. The air and moisture barrier, again, 430, it provides that as well. And then we always stress a pre-installation meeting so we can meet with the contractor. So, because a lot of times what's drawn, sometimes the contractor runs into a condition that's maybe not handled in the drawings. We might need a special detail. So we're there to provide that kind of support.
That's awesome. It's pretty comprehensive. And once again, obviously that's what Brian is there for, to help you through these things. I'm so impressed with the finishes that we can provide. I love this particular building that you can see here, because you can see there's a variety of different finishes, a lot of ways that you can achieve a lot of the traditional methods, but then something we haven't even talked about and we'll do on a future broadcast, and it's the energy efficiency that you're going to get and the performance you're going to get from the system that looks amazing. Brian, I was down in Charleston a few months ago and I was looking at this building, and it was brick and then stone and then stucco. And I was just like shaking my head. I'm like, how inefficient is this structure going to be? Like, why are we doing this? Like, we could have a more energy efficient building. And I spoke with the local rep and he was like, that is drive it. So I was like getting all
We fooled
frustrated,
you.
like, oh, you fooled me. So I'm actually in the Sheraton downtown Phoenix hotel that our friend Jim Nisted from your colleague, or our colleague from Drive It, told me this building was panelized. So I'm in the 31st floor, and this was a panelized building using some of our, I think it was the Federalite, or one of our panelized systems. But so lots of options, lots of good ways that you can utilize, EIFS in your construction. A good friend of mine, Keith Simon, is giving a presentation, EIFS versus stucco. He calls it the cage fight. So he will be presenting that at a Passive House conference coming up here shortly. So lots of ways we can educate and continue to make sure that we're trying to get at least that part of the schedule solidified, knowing that we might have some other delays. So last but not least, of course, we wanted to be able to give everybody the update on this Cook project brought to us by Pato Architects. Tell me a little bit about how this all came about.
Well, so Pato reached out to us through USG too as well. So Greg Shear and Dean made the initial contact, and then Dean Printy with Interior Supply talked to him initially about the 430 system and got him thinking that this could be a good solution. And then Greg and I actually showed up during the pandemic. I believe it was over the winter sometime, and with our masks on, went in and met with the architect and kind of showed him samples and got him thinking that this was definitely the system they wanted for the Cook project. We discussed a number of different options on finish, went over renderings, and moved to present day, and we've got a great looking project that's in the final stages of being completed.
Well, and speaking of specification, I know this was a key part of securing this project.
Yeah, absolutely. So we went through and kind of detailed what the system would provide, and then we talked about how that the 430 system would also as long as you used all the components, you would get that full 22-year warranty. He felt it was so important that he put it in his substitution limitations section of his specifications that you could see there. So that worked out really well for us, and it's going to work out well for the owner.
So just revisiting that picture again of that full comprehensive system. So just so exciting. So we visited it a while ago. So here I love the rendering compared to this is a picture actually August 25th. So I went back there and was able to visit the area, as well as one of our colleagues, Amy Woodard, was there too. So it's always great, to be able to see these projects come to fruition, see it in action. And I love, which we might not have been able to capture, is that rounded front look that really does look so nicely with the rounded windows as well. So you can kind of see that there up front. Well, take us into some pictures. So here, once again, these bright, beautiful, sunny days. It's just like Cleveland weather all the time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at this stage, they've obviously got the 430 Dimonic, so the building's more or less dried in, and they're putting up the foam and the base coat adhesive. So of course they got the building scaffold, and the blue part is our mesh. So that's another way we can tell they're using Dryvit. And they're doing some unique piecing together of the foam around that curved area in the front of the building we talked about too. But again, I don't know if you can see the starter boards on here, but they have used those at the area above the bottom floor. Yeah, where you have that arrow. That's where they're using them. Yeah.
Here's a little closer up.
Yeah, so you can see the Dimonic around the window for the flashing area. Again, more of the foam with our standard mesh. And then there's the contractor actually putting the mesh over the foam material, and you want to make sure you're embedding that fully so you don't see any of the mesh. And then a little further away, you can see they've got 2 stories of foam up and putting on the base coat.
This is a great picture. So a shout out to Kathy Alvine, who was with you on this day, I believe, and sent me these pictures. But this is a great shot of it all coming together and being able to handle that curve. It's good. And then of course, photo cred here to Dean Printy, who just sent us that great finished look. It's really exciting to see it coming together. Explain to me this look here that we have.
So they used a limestone finish, but the way they applied it is a little unique. And I guess when I first was talking to the architect, I was thinking it was going to be a smooth kind of traditional limestone look, but the contractor kind of had an idea that this was something that would be unique. The way they applied the finish, and the owner seemed to really enjoy how it looked. And so we have the limestone with this kind of more aggressive unevenness, if you will, in the finish. So it does look pretty good. It's a neat highlight with the black window frame too. So I'm looking forward to getting out there when it's completely done and taking some final pictures. But I think it's going to look great.
It's great. I'm loving how it's all coming together. So yeah, if you could send us one final picture when it's all done, and we'll do a nice side by side. It really is great how this has come together. I know they needed something that they could apply, in obviously a downtown area. So there's a lot of other benefits of using something that's pre-applied. Even just the staging of products and waste that you would see with something that was field installed was a savings there. So, as we look at labor savings in general, and we think about training, there's so many videos on the Securock ExoAir 430 system that are super helpful. Case studies, training videos, lots of resources there. And of course, your local sales representative can help as well. So any final thoughts, Brian, as we come to a close here?
Yeah, I mean, this is really about my second, maybe third 430 project we've done. And I like the support we get from the other Tremco CPG companies. Wes Gilmore, I don't want to mention him. He was out there a few times as well. So we work together as a team to kind of provide solutions for our customers. That's the theme. That's what I really enjoy about the company. It's not only the great products, but it's the teamwork that we like. So.
Yeah, and Ryan Bellissimo is your field tech rep. I think
he
was
yes.
involved right here towards, or at least a week or so ago. So welcome Ryan Bellissimo to the team as well. So we'll give him a shout out. But I do love that. It's that team approach, working really closely. And of course, thanks to Dean Printy and Interior Supply for all of his support throughout this project as well. So
absolutely.
Lots of resources, lots of videos, as I mentioned, on our website, lots of information there. But if you have any question at any time, you can always reach out to me at mtyler@tremcoinc.com. And of course, if you want to join the conversation and bring your information, your project, your solution to a broadcast in the future, we would love to have you. Next week, we will have one more a broadcast based on labor savings. And when we go into October, we're going to focus on resiliency. So how does your structure need to be durable? What are different types of means and methods that you've utilized in order to really give your owner and that long-term performance credibility is what we want to hear about. So Brian, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll touch back with you soon.
My pleasure. Have a good day, Marcy.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time on Tremco Live.